up, gang? It's your boy Wolfpack Chris, face of Iron Gang, H2G Fit Coach. And today I want to talk to you guys about the difference between competitive and non-competitive bodybuilding. And why do I want to talk to you guys about the difference between competitive and non-competitive? Well, I think it's quite clear. Actually, it is not quite clear. Let me break this down for you guys. Well, better yet, let me ask you a simple question. What kind of body do you want to have? What kind of physique? What type of figure? What do you want to look like? You know what I'm saying? If you're not happy with the way you look, if you're not happy with your body type, if you're not happy with your size, your weight, whatever, you have seen something, whether it's been in a magazine, whether it's been on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, whatever website you peruse, whether it's bodybuilding.com, men's health and fitness, whatever, you've seen a body type that you just said, man, wow, I want to look like that. But, and there's the key word, but. So that's why I asked the question, or not so much ask the question, that's why I say there's a difference between competitive and non-competitive looks. Now, I kind of said bodybuilding, but it's more than just bodybuilding, right? I mean, if you follow bodybuilding, which I'm assuming most of you guys don't, it's not all about these guys and these girls with big muscles and these muscular physiques with a lot of cuts, a lot of definitions, a lot of lines in between and separation in between the muscles. You have a lot of different types of competition. You have women out there that compete in bikini, where you see a lot of your beach bodies or your beach type bodies. They don't really have a lot of lines and cuts and definitions and separations in between their muscles. They're just really lean and really toned. And some women aspire to look like that. And you see a lot of that in a lot of your print ads, a lot of your model magazines, and all of that good jazz. And then you have the actual physique look, where you have the actual muscular build, you have the definition and cut, you have that muscular physique, and all of that good jazz. And then you get deeper and deeper into it with the bodybuilding and all that. Now, I say that to say this. I think that a lot of people have a wrong idea or perception on what bodybuilding is. I think you see these bodybuilding competitors and you think to yourself, man, these guys are competition ready. Whatever they're doing, I can't do it. You probably assuming that they're on drugs, and you would be right to assume that they're using some form of performance enhancement. And I know a lot of people don't want to use performance enhancement, don't want to use supplements, juice, for the lack of a better word. And I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to neither. And honestly, I don't use supplements. I don't use anything illegal. And that segues me into the other side of it. If I'm not competing, am I still considered a bodybuilder? In my opinion, I say yes. If you're working on changing the definition and the physique of your body and you actively make a transformation, then you are building your body. The difference is you're not taking yourself to that extreme level of bodybuilding. Now, what's the difference between a competitor and a non-competitor? Well, there's several things. But I think there's one thing to note. Um, well, let me before I go back to that one thing to note, let me say this. A lot of people who look at these guys in the magazines, and then if you ever had the privilege of being around some really muscular guys, um, a lot of people can't really tell the difference between a guy who competes and a guy who doesn't compete. Unless you're looking at a really, really bulky guy that looks muscular, then obviously he's not competing, right? But if you're looking at guys with muscles and everything, how can you tell the difference? It's hard to tell the difference to the untrained eye, to somebody who's not in the community, or somebody who doesn't follow bodybuilding like that. The difference really is in body fat. So your competitors are looking really, really lean and crisp on stage with 3 to 5% body fat. That means they are really, really ripped. They're really, really shredded. You can see every separation, every definition of their muscle. Their skin is paper thin, and it's like having spandex wrapped around your body. That's how lean these guys are. Now, you have your 15 to 20% guys, and I'll even go down to 10 to 20% body fat guys who look similar to that. Like if you put a shirt on them and you put a shirt on a guy that's 5%, who's roughly the same size in visual look, you really wouldn't be able to tell the difference. If you put a stringer on the 5% and the 15 to 20%, you may still not be able to tell much of a noticeable difference unless you really, really looked at them. So, is it hard to achieve that look or that goal? No, it's not. It absolutely isn't. And so that brings me back to what that one point that I wanted to make on competitive versus non-competitive. Since we established the body fat difference, it really comes down to the way that these guys train. When I say train, I don't mean just the way that they go to the gym and exercise and how they lift weights and all that. All that's pretty much similar. That's pretty much the same. Um, the difference in the training is that style is the same. It doesn't change. The difference is what they incorporate into their training. So you also got to put nutrition and dieting in there. And everybody doesn't diet and nutrition the same way. These competitors are very, 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 very strict on their diet. They're very, very strict on how they eat, what they eat, even down to the times of day that they eat, and how many calories, carbs, proteins, and fats for their macronutrients. All of that is very, very strict. That's how they get down to 5 to 3% body fat. Not to mention, they're doing a metric F ton of cardio. Now, for your guys who are doing, I won't say they're doing a metric F ton of cardio because they don't want to sacrifice muscle. They want to burn fat and continue to build muscle because they want to look big and lean at the same time. But that's another story for another time. Your non-competitive guys, they have more leniency in their diet. Not to say that they can just go out and eat Pizza Hut, Popeyes, McDonald's, or whatever every day, or they can have the number 5 at Wendy's, 3 times a week. That's not what I'm saying. They're not following a super strict diet. They're following a diet. They're following their macros, but they're not as strict on it. They can afford to skip a couple of days of cardio. They can have a cheat meal here and there, and they probably are pretty liberal and pretty loose with their nutrition and meal planning. And much like the competitive guys, they can probably eyeball what's good and how much of what they can take in without having to weigh their food or without having to be calculated about it to the exact number. Um, the competitive guys are going to be calculated to the exact number. They're not going to deviate. They're not going to go outside of it. They're not going to cheat. They're strictly on. And that's how they achieve that 3 to 5% look. The 10 to 20% guys, they know their number. They're going to strive to hit that number, but they can play around with it. And they know they can because they're still going to be training. They're still going to do cardio. It's just not going to be intense. So, for you guys who want to get that look, who want to achieve the bodybuilding look, or even if you don't want to achieve the bodybuilding look, it's not impossible. I consider myself a non-competitive bodybuilder because I like changing the way my body looks. Will I ever step on stage? I don't know. I'm not against competitive bodybuilding. I like competitive bodybuilding. I think it's cool. I wish competitive bodybuilding went more mainstream, and I wish they were more in tune with the general public. And that's what I love about YouTube fitness, because these guys who bodybuild, or these personalities who have bodybuild competitively or don't bodybuild competitively, who are non-competitive guys like myself that's really obtained a really nice physique and built a really great following doing it. I wish the guys who competed brought personality to the sport. And yes, I did say it was a sport. I think anything where you have to get active in order to compete is a sport. I mean, these guys might not be as physically active on stage when they're being judged and compared amongst each other, but trust and believe, about 6 to 8 months out the year, these guys are busting their ass just as much as anybody on any football field or anybody on any basketball court. These guys are working hard to achieve that look and to obtain their goals. So, but I wish these guys would bring more personality to the sport, like the YouTube celebrities and the fitness guys, personalities, whatever. Um, One other thing I want to say before I leave, let me get a drink of water real quick, and I'm gonna leave you guys on this note here. Ladies, please do not be scared of picking up a weight. Please do not be scared of picking up a dumbbell. Please don't be scared of picking up a barbell. Please do not be scared of pulling a cable, a belt, pulley, whatever. Resistance training. A lot of women are scared that they're gonna get this masculine look, that they're gonna get the women's physique look with the broad shoulders, well defined muscles, and they're gonna get a little bit big, and they don't like that manly look, which is okay. You know, I don't think it's a bad look on women. I think women look, if done right proportionally, I think women look very, very sexy with that look. Just as sexy as a woman who does bikini looks in bikini competition. But if that's not what you're striving for, then you know that doesn't mean that that's gonna happen when you pick up a weight. You gotta understand that there's a lot more to it. Your nutrition affects that. Your training style and intensity affects that. How heavy you lift affects that. But bottom line, at the end of the day, you can still pick up weights and still look just as sexy as a bikini model without sacrificing, dare I say, I mean, a lot of women don't want to lose their breasts, you know, because when you're training with intensity and you're doing a lot of cardio and you're really eating strict on a diet, you lose body fat, and women's breasts are made out of fat. That's a natural fact. And once they start getting toned up and build muscle, they lose fat around their breasts. Um, but that doesn't mean that that has to happen if you pick up a weight. Again, that only happens based around your nutrition and your training. You can still pick up a weight and look toned. These women who are doing bikini shows, they're still lifting. They still lifting barbell weights. They're still lifting dumbbell weights. They're still doing the cable weights. They still doing other resistance style training, and they have nice breasts and a nice proportionate body. So you don't have to sacrifice in order to pick up a weight. And that's the message I want to share with you ladies. So I just kind of wanted to do that. I want to share my views on competitive and non-competitive bodybuilding. I hope that this was insightful for you guys. I hope this motivated some of you guys. I hope this inspired some of you guys to kind of get up off your ass and say, I'm going to go do it, and actually go do it. I'm not going to talk your ear off to death. I got you for about 13 minutes and 30 something seconds. So I'll sign off saying this. If you like this video, hit like, please comment, subscribe, and please, if you're a supporter of Iron Gang, share this video with your friends on your friends list, especially if you think it can help somebody. And y'all have a blessed day. Good night. Iron Gang for life. Iron Gang out.